The Little Mermaid is black. Quick, everyone, get the pitchforks because this is serious. Disney is desecrating yet another classic from our childhoods. How dare they turn this mermaid from the white nation, that is Denmark, and make her black? Woke Hollywood has gone too far. Now obviously I'm joking because people who say that are idiots, and that's what we're here to look at today. So a trailer for the Little Mermaid live action remake just came out a couple days ago, and it shows, as you may know, Halle Bailey in her role as Ariel. We've talked about this once before in one of my Geeks and Gamers videos, but that was a while ago. But yes, Halle Bailey is not white, as she was in the original Disney movie that wasn't actually the original story, but oh well. But basically this trailer came out and it has over 1 million dislikes, because of course it has. Grown men love nothing more than to dunk on woke children's movies. However, what do I think of the trailer? I don't really have many opinions of it. I mean, it was more of a teaser than a trailer, not really much was shown. One thing that I'm already seeing is that they have really desaturated the ocean. I mean, to make it look more realistic of course, but it's lost all the vibrance of the original animation movie. It's more dark, it's more gray, it looks more realistic, but just like The Lion King, I'm just worried that it'll make it feel lifeless. However, we'll get into this a bit later. However, Halle Bailey looks perfect as Ariel. She has that innocent face, she has a lovely voice, and she has that curious look in her eyes, which Ariel needs. Her whole story is about curiosity and longing for something that she can't have. So yeah, I think Halle Bailey is perfect. And there's not really much else to say. This was a teaser for a live action remake of a Disney story. There's just really not much else to say. However, as with everything that comes out these days, there was pushback from the anti-wokes. And obviously some of the criticism is alright, such as the lack of vibrant colors. People say that it looks lifeless, and with the way that the Lion King remake went, it's natural. Some of the criticism is fine, I guess. Like, if you truly want to get mad at the fact that the vibrant colors aren't really there and that it looks dark and gray, then go ahead, I guess. But some people are getting really riled up over this, and it's a Disney movie. It's made for kids. I don't know why so many grown-ass men are so annoyed at this. However, there are also a lot of people who are just pure racist, and this is a problem, but it was also not very hard to predict. Now these are some of the replies I saw under the official Disney Twitter page when they revealed this trailer, and a lot of the comments were just talking about why they cast Halle Bailey, why she's black, because Ariel is supposed to be white for some reason. Is no one gonna talk about how political correctness is ruining films nowadays? Ironically, it's kinda racist that she's black and not white, like she's meant to be. It's super offensive. Maybe I should start the WM movement and burn shit and stuff. With enough violence, we can go back to normal, I guess. It amazes me how dumb the human race has gotten. And again, just to remind you, this is all because a black woman was cast to be Ariel in a Disney movie. Halle Bailey fits all the characteristics of Ariel. She even has the red hair. People who have a problem with this casting are just racist. Their problem is the skin color. Like, let's not act like it's something else. Alright, these next ones are some of the replies from years ago when Halle Bailey was first announced to be cast as Ariel. Ariel should be a white redhead. This is bullshit. There's also this extremely racist picture, and there's this person who says that everyone wants equality, but the character looks the way they do for a reason. Ariel is white with red hair. Sorry, but it's the way it is. It changes the whole idea, Lamau. Y'all gonna stand if they make one of Princess and the Frog where Tiana is white, blonde with blue eyes? And this is an argument that we've seen plenty of times. Every time a previously white character is shown to be black now, people say, oh, what would you do if we did the same with Black Panther or the Princess and the Frog? And people just don't get it. Before Tiana was on screen, there hadn't been a black Disney princess for over 40 movies. It's insane to think that recasting Ariel with Halle Bailey is the same as it would be as casting a white person as Tiana. Now of course not everyone is a raging reactionary. Most people are nice. Most people are either civil when they criticize this show or they just don't care. Like, that's the thing, if this movie ends up being bad, I won't go after it. It's not made for me. If children around the world end up loving this movie, then that's what matters. I'm not saying adults can't like Disney movies, but before we start getting hateful and aggressive, just remember who these movies are made for. However, not everyone is an extremist. Whether that being a reactionary, or a commie like I am. But these things are still significant every time they happen, and they happen a lot. We saw with Kenobi, we saw with Rings of Power, we saw with House of the Dragon, and those are just the recent ones. Racist outrage in cinema and media in general is starting to become bolder, it's starting to happen way more often, and we need to push back. However, I think I need to address one of the really dumb arguments that I've seen, which is the argument that The Little Mermaid is a Danish story, that it was written by H.C. Andersen, who is from Denmark. And so the characters in the story should be white because most people in Denmark are white, and that casting a black girl to play Ariel is the same as taking a dump on Danish culture. And anyone who uses this argument seriously can go to hell. First of all, if we go based on the Disney movie, which isn't even nearly the same depiction as the original folktale, but if we go based on that, which is where most people reference from, they're like, oh, Ariel is white with red hair. That's from the Disney movie, not from the original. But in this movie, there are fucking coral reefs and exotic fish. You think Danish waters look like that? If it did, people would be swarming to Denmark. But they don't. It's cold, and there's nothing here. Even if you discard all the fantasy elements like a talking octopus, mermaids, a Jamaican crab, it still doesn't resemble Denmark in any way. The whole argument about H.C. Andersen is also bullshit. In Denmark, H.C. Andersen is very beloved, but his stories aren't about race or being hateful, and the message of The Little Mermaid definitely is not that she's white, or that her race even matters. It's almost an insult to H.C. Andersen, because his stories are so much deeper than this. His stories are about love, in particular his love for the world and for others, and the love that people have for each other. But they're also about tragedy, and just generally dark shit. A lot of his stories are for people who don't belong, because he felt that he didn't belong. Throughout his entire life, he felt like an outcast. He was socially anxious, he was socially awkward, he didn't fit in anywhere. His life is a story about love and tragedy. Yes, he was very patriotic. He loved Denmark, he loved the culture, he loved the nature, he loved the art, but it would go against everything that he stood for people to be this upset over the skin color of Ariel. Like, she's a mermaid. Skin color doesn't matter. So stop trying to use European culture and history as an excuse for your bigotry, because it's annoying and no one likes you. I can promise you no one in Denmark are going, oh, why is Ariel black? We don't like that. That's not our Little Mermaid. Like, no, people either don't care or they like the casting, because she looks like Ariel. And again, let me just emphasize that the Little Mermaid Disney movie is way different than the original story. The original one is brutal, written about his own tragic life. Ariel ends up committing suicide in it. This is not the Disney movie. The Disney movie doesn't have anything to do with Danish culture. It makes just as much sense for Ariel to be black than it does for her to be white. But also, this isn't about H.C. Andersen, and it isn't about us. It's about the children. Try to think about the effect this can have on children of color, seeing themselves as Disney princesses / princes, or heroes and heroines. I've seen a bunch of videos on TikTok and YouTube of little black girls reacting to this trailer, and it's so wholesome. Why do you want to take that away from them? And there's the whole thing about like, oh, what about my children? They also want to see themselves on the screen, and they're white. Well, newsflash, most Disney princesses and most main characters, most anything in movies are still white. No one can take away the fact that Ariel is white in the original The Little Mermaid movie. If you care so much about the skin color of Ariel, then go back and watch that movie. But that's the thing, the people complaining about this shit don't watch these movies. They don't care, they're just in it for the general cultural argument that wokeness is ruining everything, and this is just another example of that. But all they're proving is that they're hateful and they're idiots. Now, I have seen some people make actual valid arguments against Disney and their remakes. One thing people are saying is that instead of just remaking old Disney movies and then making the main character black, how about making new stories about fairy tales from different places in the world, different cultures? There are so many interesting fairy tales and stories from around the world that could make really interesting movies, instead of just redoing the same movies over and over again. However, this argument has nothing to do with the skin color of Ariel or The Little Mermaid. I think people are still wrong if they say that, oh, they should make those other stories from different cultures, but then keep The Little Mermaid white, because that's still part of the problem. No, keep Halle Bailey as The Little Mermaid, but then still make new stories. Because that's the thing, a lot of modern blockbuster cinema feels like it's losing its creativity. Old franchises are getting rebooted all the time. Old movies are getting remade. And especially Disney turning their old classic animation movies into these large-scale CGI but lifeless movies that no one really cares too much about. It's in a way defiling animation as an art form. Animation is so important, I don't know why people push for live action nowadays. Disney built itself on animation and it feels like they're just defiling that history. It feels like they're just going for money, which is obviously what they're doing. Disney is a mega corporation, we've talked about this before, all they care about is making money. And despite what reactionaries say, woke equals money. Diversity equals more money. People like seeing that, so they want to watch it. Maybe not in YouTube comments, but like in the real world, that's the case. If Disney truly cared about inclusivity and diversity, they'd make more original stories from around the world, as well as adding diversity into these new remakes. Like, that's the thing, I'm not saying anything against Halle Bailey as Ariel, I still want that. This is just more a problem with Disney in general. Their movies are becoming worse, they're becoming more lifeless. But no one should take anything away from Halle Bailey as Ariel. She's a great casting for Ariel. And make no mistake, if this movie sucks, it will not be because it's woke, it'll be because it's a Disney remake. People act like diversity is a bad thing, but it's not. We need diversity in everything. It makes the world better if we all cooperate, if we don't have these petty battles. The world would be so much better if we could just watch a kids movie or a fantasy show and not care about the color of people's skins. And we've talked about these arguments that, oh, you wouldn't do the same for Mulan or Black Panther. And firstly, there's pieces of cinema where skin color is important. For example, historical pieces or stories where ethnicity, race, or culture is important, even for white people. You wouldn't make a movie about the founding fathers and then turn the founding fathers white, unless it's like a parody, because that wouldn't be historically accurate. You wouldn't make a movie about Chuck Norris and then make him black. It wouldn't make sense. However, casting a black woman to play Ariel in a Disney movie is not a problem, because first of all, the skin color doesn't matter to that story, and second of all, it's an attempt to set things right. Cinema throughout its history has always been white, male dominated. Most movies and TV shows have a plethora of white heroes and main characters and important characters in general, and not nearly as many people of color or from different ethnicities. Only in the past 10 years has there been an actual push to change this, to add more diversity. But even then, there are still way more white people in cinema, despite what people say. The Star Wars sequels has way more white men than any other social group. The same can be said for Kenobi. The main character is white. The same for the MCU, despite this push for more women and more people of color or different cultures, there are still more white people in the MCU. The same thing can be said for the Rings of Power and the House of the Dragon. I think Halle Bailey is a perfect casting, and at the end of the day, she has red hair, so anyone who's saying they have a problem with her appearance. But anyways, that's all I have for today. I just wanted to give my takes on this situation and respond to some of the arguments that I've been seeing. However, what do you think? Are you interested in this movie? Will you be watching? Do you not care? And do you personally think that it's valid to be upset about the skin color of Ariel? Let me know down below. I also just quickly wanted to thank my Patreons, which includes our turf captain, Ben Joseph. The link to my Twitter and my Patreon is down below too. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe and peace out.